Ngiyaphila manje, ngikwele impilo manje, kuyalunga manje, izinto zihamba kahle, izinto ziyahlangana manje, impilo iba mnandi manje, konke kuyalunga manje, sengiyabonga mina.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here on SA Drummer TV episode 2, and I've got Leagan, Starchild.
What's going on?
Full fire.
Full fire.
Leagan played a couple songs in the beginning, and the one thing we really want to discuss is the subject of gospel chops. And for me, that is where a lot of guys confuse that, is when they learn gospel chops, they go crazy with it. But what I noticed about your playing, which is really, really cool, is you know where to place them, you know where to put them within a song without overplaying. And I think that's a subject where a lot of guys get confused. They learn like one gospel chop, and then it's like middle of a verse. And then the off stuff comes, but there's definitely a musical way of playing them. And that's something I want to discuss with you, is that area of playing it musically, placing them in the right places and so on.
Mainly, I guess, the treatment for that, would be mainly play roles and stuff like that in and out of sections. So when you're coming out of a verse or into a bridge, into a chorus, out of a chorus, that's kind of the times where I would pick and it's probably cleanest to it's the most cleanest place to put it, in terms of like playing through, like playing over everything. You kind of cover a lot of other things that's happening, I mean the vocals. You tend to be with a lot of musicians on stage at any given time, so covering that space is kind of not ideal at any given situation. So I've kind of developed a way of playing stuff openly, so kind of like rather picking a better positions in terms of like where you start your roles, where you place them, so that you're not really in someone else's space or things like that. And then also just splitting up the roles, so not playing like complete stuff like rather splitting it up, like make it more rhythmic, so it doesn't like disturb anything, it's kind of inside, so it flows with whatever's happening,
Exactly. I'm sure with playing with a bunch of different artists that you have played for, do they give you direction of where you can kind of let loose a little more, or where to kind of like, let's say you got your grouping of certain fills that you use that are a bit busier, will you artist to artist kind of tone that down, or?
Yes, most definitely. I actually, in terms of the knowledge I have, I barely use any of it most of the time, It's mainly playing what works. So for me, because I play with a bunch of artists, it's kind of trying to keep them comfortable. And also not to make them feel like there's extra, there's too much, or I don't want them to feel like there's now an extra something on stage. It's got to feel like it's their song, and there's nuances that make it feel a bit cooler, not anything out of the ordinary,
That's it.
So I guess when you're working with artists, I feel like that's the treatment you should always kind of portray with someone else's music. I mean, period,
Exactly.
You're playing someone else's music, you have to have respect for that, and then kind of shine in a sense where it's more clinical than like showing off. It's
kind of like I went to the Katy Perry concert recently. And obviously Tony Royster on drums.
Oh man, I'm sure that was bliss, eh?
Yes, and I noticed certain things where there are times where most of the time it's solid, it's straightforward in the pocket, and there's times where let's say it's a certain piece of a song where the band just kind of
opens it up,
and then
he's
then
able
he
to
shows a bit of Tony.
Exactly.
So I'm sure you found with you playing with Lyra and Louisa and all those guys, that all come with experience and getting comfortable with the artist. And
a lot of those things are written into the show, so to speak. So it's like once you kind of get comfortable and the artist is comfortable, they tend to actually give you that leeway. They're like, play, man, play a bit more. And that's what you kind of want. You want to be able to gauge in that sense, like rather the artist asking you for more than you throwing everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's kind of the approach I take to that situation. Yeah,
I felt that as well. Like my own playing, if I'm working with the artist, I try and play almost too little.
Yes,
and then you wait for the artist to say, hey man, you can actually
open up a bit, and
then you go for it. And I think that's one thing that a lot of let's say upcoming drummers or guys that are into this sort of vibe is to kind of get hold of that and embrace that idea. It's like you can't just go ahead and
just bash. I mean, it's all good and well. I mean, going to Virgil's clinic.
Yeah.
I mean, that was insane. Like, because the guy is his own artist, he's able to play as openly as he wants.
Yeah.
But when he works with other bands, you won't even say that it's Virgil playing.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's kind of what, if I was to give anything to a younger drummer or someone that wants to kind of do this industry thing, like respect the artist more than anything else. So learn the music as is, and then while learning it, mess around with it and see kind of how you can sway that it doesn't take away from the actual music. You know what I mean?
And then you're also ready if he says,
if you want to go, then you're there.
Not freezing up.
Yeah, you're there.
Like having that when I was chatting with Chris Coleman over Skype.
Yeah.
And he had a cool outlook on it. He was saying it's exactly like meeting a girl. Where he says, and we had a good laugh about it. He was saying you can't go in, let's say you check this nice girl, whatever. Now you want to go and have a conversation with her.
It's like, hey, I want to marry you, I love you. You're so perfect for me.
He said you can't walk up to her and just start shouting at her.
Exactly.
He said you got to ease in, and then as the relationship goes a bit more, then you can add a bit finesse. That's exactly it. Add in a bit more, and as the relationship goes, you'll see what she wants more.
What she likes, It's
like a protein drum in that way. It's just like you don't want to come out with something with the crowd, for example. That's the girl now.
Yeah, and they're going like, who are you?
Get lost and married, bro. So that's definitely something I wanted to cover. Just
man.
Before you give some demonstrations on different fills that guys can start off with. I think it's always important to discuss that, so guys don't take a cool fill that you're doing. Go, okay, now I'm gonna play this.
I'm gonna go and learn this thing and play it everywhere.
I'm gonna play a 6/8 ballad,
and then I'm gonna throw this 4/4
in the first bar, over 2 bars.
Exactly.
So where would a guy start if they want to, kind of get this feel and get into this gospel chop type of broken up fill? So what is an exercise guys can start with?
How I kind of developed the situation is looking at my kit and looking for sound more than knowing that this is a tom, and rather looking for tones that kind of complement what's happening, so that it's not like, because I've always seen this situation where like guys would roll like but it's never needed because there's no space, you know, there's no breathing space.
Exactly.
So that's where I developed kind of opening things up, using sound more than like playing the kit as a kit, using it percussively. Exactly. So looking at a drum kit percussively, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Can you show us a cool example of where a guy can start off with this?
So, I'll just start off like in a 4/4 groove. Okay, so in terms of my placing, I normally I kind of just pick tones as I go along. So it's like I build it as it goes, you know. So I'll just play it over 4/4. Okay. So stuff like that, where it's more split up instead of going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very, very cool. Can you slow that down for us a little bit?
All right, cool.
I know it's on the spot, but if you can, that'll be awesome.
Sure, I can figure it out, maybe. Hopefully. Okay, so. Just splitting it up, you know, so it's just like. So it's not. It doesn't really matter where you play.
Yeah.
Where you start or whatever the case may be. It's more that you're keeping. Like my concept of the playing is keeping it like a train.
Yes.
You don't ever want your train coming off the tracks, or else it's. You know.
Exactly.
So I always try to keep everything moving. Even when if I'm going to my ride or if I'm rolling, I try to keep my heights going. So it's.
I get you.
So even if I'm playing like a high groove. And the second I open it up, I start with the hat, you know.
Killer.
So I kind of keep everyone on stage as well on the same page. So even if I do divert, they've always got this.
I get
you know.
That's killer.
So yeah, that's kind of the things that you kind of pick up on when you're playing with a band, because of the fact that not everybody is like a drummer, you know.
Yeah.
Not everybody feels stuff the same. So they would love to have that pulse continuous, irrespective of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to develop that as well, you know.
right.
So yeah, that's.
I'm sure you can take that concept and get creative with it.
Man,
And
you
that's the
can
main
open
thing.
it up.
Different ways to place it. and-
Yeah, especially starting points, especially with where you start, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody tends to want to start on one, or like they wait for the end of the bar, like on 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Like they're always like, okay, on the 3 I'm gonna come in, but. It's so open. You've got all these subdivisions. I mean, 1
Exactly.
and a 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
So I use that. Obviously, I look at it in different tempos. So if it's slower, I would double time.
Yeah.
I would count everything double time. So when I'm playing it, it was like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and.
Yeah.
So those spaces now suddenly become even more open. You've got even more subdivisions now. You know? So it just becomes double, which is like amazing. You know?
That's killer.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that I'm pretty much happy with that. So
Sweet.
there you have it. Chops are nice. Chops you can use. A lot of things, but what we discussed now is just applying them musically and not going crazy with them. So we'll have the sheet music for this as well. We definitely wanted subscriptions. You can sit and get creative with this, and then take the foundation from Leagan, but also make it your own. That's definitely the most
Yes,
important
that's
thing.
key. Yeah.
Killer.
Sweet.
My
bro.
brother.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Word, man.